Hi guys, welcome back to Traveling Teacher Talk. This is part 3 of our 10 tips for new teachers in China.
Cool, dude. That's excellent. Okay, let's get on with them. What's number 7?
Try new things.
Like what?
I think try new food because the Chinese the Chinese food you're used to at home.
That's a great one. If anything, just try the food. Try the weird and funky food. We'll leave it at that because that could be a whole video on the food, and we will probably include some videos on food anyway.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing to try.
Yeah.
The language as well. Try the language.
Yeah.
Try different elements of the culture. Right. If there's something else that you've wanted to try, longboarding or hiking, or other things. But give it a go because
get involved with the culture. Even though you might be a young 20, 30-year-old, you'll see older women dancing each night in groups.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Yeah, Di did that once. She walked up, "Oh, can I join you?" And they're all really happy, and they were going around in a marchy little circle, blah, blah, blah.
Everyone will tell you it's the old ladies thing to do, or the old person thing to do. But hey, look,
it's fun.
The amount of joy that you give to those people and the amount of joy that you feel just being part of that, and they recognize you.
Yeah, it's forever. Wonderful, in other words.
So give it a try.
Yeah, try new things, new food, just new challenges.
Yeah.
And that brings us on to the next one anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Challenge yourself. Say yes. Say yes to going to dinner, and say yes to taking that little trip out into a small Chinese town. Look, that's generally the attitude of most people traveling anyway, but think about the yes. Think about that awesome movie with Jim Carrey, Yes Man. That was really good. The things that he learned. Sure, it was a movie, but it can very much be real life.
Yeah.
Take that real positive perspective and say yes to things. Challenge yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting when you do say yes. You can end up on whitewater rafting somewhere. You can end up, just in this tiny little village, and you're just having an amazing time.
So. And as a couple, one of us has said yes and one has said no, and so we've tended to go with the yes, right? So we've got into some situations which has really pulled you out of or the other person out of their comfort zone. So that's a really handy thing, that's something that has helped us explore and experience so much more when you normally would have said no, or me or you would have normally said no, and
me normally,
and off we go.
Yeah.
And the whitewater rafting guy wasn't kidding. That was crazy and a bit scary. But many other just normal everyday opportunities as well. People will invite you to go and have a drink, not an alcoholic one necessarily, a coffee, or sit by the lake, or they will invite you to dinner. Just try it.
Say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Next one.
This is a perfect opportunity to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Become the best you.
Absolutely.
If there's things that you want to try, it does run from those other tips, but think about it. Think about reinventing you. In study, in an academic sense, in a physical sense, in an emotional sense, with relationships. You can really reinvent yourself. You have the opportunity, and I can tell you now, these guys are unbelievably forgiving, aren't they? In other words, they don't judge. One of the biggest changes for me was I could be walking around in Australia, and typically my mind is going, am I doing it right? But here, it doesn't exist. Here, you can walk around. People walk around in pajamas.
They do.
Pajamas.
They really do.
They really do. And people have dogs in little cases, and they take into the coffee shop, and their hair is in rollers. But there's no judgment, or if it is, it's completely ignored or completely invisible. Yeah. But typically, we found that there's no judgment. And like I'm an older guy, right? And I built a longboard with a pole, so you can try what you've wanted to try, explore, say yes, reinvent yourself to how you want to be.
The reinventing from my perspective as well, which is probably more of a personal thing. From when you're at home, and within your family unit, as wonderful as that is, you have got a kind of like a hierarchical type structure, and you're seen as this person. I was seen as the emotional one. the one that always worked with kids.
The middle child.
The third daughter. I'm not criticizing that at all. But once you leave that behind, you can think, who am I? Who am I really?
Space.
And it does give you space. And then you push yourself into this environment where there's a whole lot of other teachers that have done the same thing in various stages. And I found, even as a teacher that's had lots of time working in early childhood, you still learn. You go into a class and you watch a teacher do a class with some kids, and you think, wow, I really like that.
Yeah.
And so I've always said, find that, put that, to make it your own, but reinvent yourself in that regard.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, cool. Take the opportunity. Be the new you.
True.
And our last one, number 10 of our 10 tips, is ask for help.
Yeah.
Accept help. Don't be shy and don't be too proud.
Yeah.
Particularly in China, what you'll see is people are not afraid to ask for help. They'll go up to a stranger, they'll go up to a gardener, they'll go up to anybody and ask the question. In the West, it's a bit of a judgment situation, and you do need to know. And I never have to ask for directions or anything like this. But guys here are not afraid to help, and that's taught us a lot, hasn't it? And never be scared to ask for help and accept it. People will offer it. And so accept that help, and you'll be surprised and amazed at some of the places it takes you. Apart from it making a much easier life, a happier path and an easier path to go down.
Yeah, so don't suffer in silence. Ask your colleagues, you'll often have a foreign liaison, so ask them. Ask the teachers, it's amazing who you can ask. And
when you're in the coffee shop and you're not sure how to use the Chinese app, ask the attendants that are there.
If you don't know what coffee shop that you're actually ordering your coffee at, and it might be like,
oh, the location. Yeah. So, it'll save a lot of problems.
Yeah, true.
But thanks, guys, for coming along on these 10 tips. I hope they've been helpful. We'll have lots of other tips, not just for teaching in China or foreign countries, but for traveling, for teaching.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched our other part 2 and part 1, we'll link them above. And please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments below, and we shall see you in the next one.
Yeah, see you next one.
Bye-bye.